Please, let me in. Lady! Operator, this is Jim Saunders. I want to make a long-distance call collect to Los Angeles. Houston Investigations. I don't know the number. Miss C.J. Parsons.
Seriously, this is the best suntan lotion in the world.
My boyfriend says these salmon eggs will catch anything that swims.
This insect spray is guaranteed to give the bugs malaria.
Well, thanks, you two, but this is just a one-week vacation. I'm not going on a 6-month expedition down the Amazon.
I have here a Mississippi night crawler, considered ambrosia by our pescatorian friends. You little rascal, stay there.
Right. Yeah, my hands are full, Uncle Roy.
Well, don't worry. I put 50 of these in the trunk of your car. They thrive in the dark.
That's good. Thank you. I'll see you all in a week. And look, if something important comes up, you...
Houston, forget it. You have canceled this trip 4 times. Nothing's going to come up. If it does, we'll handle it. Bye.
CJ, it's a collect call from a Jim Saunders. He says it's an emergency.
I'll take it. Jim, hello. What is it?
Oh, CJ, thank God you're there. I'm in Bancroft. Julia wanted me to come up here and take care of a couple of things, but...
Check what things out? Hello? Jim, hello?
That's my car!
Everything all right?
No. I just got a phone call from Jim Saunders. He works for my very dearest friend, a girl named Julia Martin. It sounds like he's in some kind of trouble, Roy.
I'll try and stop Houston.
No. Matt's on his vacation. If CJ's friend needs help, he's got it. And you're looking at it.
Thanks, Roy.
Where do we start?
Well, first of all, we place a phone call to Julia Martin to find out what this is all about.
Where can I find her?
Good question. She's a bit of a globe hopper. She has offices all through Europe. Why don't you try calling the London office first, Chris? And you and I are going to take a little trip to Bancroft, California.
Wanted him alive, you idiot!
Oliver, the man's car went out of control and it blew up. Now, what was I supposed to do?
What about the bank records he stole from me?
They went up in smoke along with him.
Well, congratulations, gentlemen. We just graduated from embezzlement to murder. We might as well just cash in our chips and disappear.
Why? We're the only ones that know Saunders is dead. If anybody finds him, they'll think it was an accident.
Sheriff's right, Mr. Bancroft. You convinced all the folks in town that Saunders worked for a rival oil company.
And that company was planning to slant drill in our fields, pump all the oil out, and cheat everybody here in Bancroft out of that oil money that you promised them, and that's what we tell them.
Well, we can't hide the truth forever. I mean, once Saunders doesn't report back to Julia, she's going to send in others to investigate. They're bound to find out that we've been borrowing her money to drill for oil, right?
Yeah.
How much money's left in Julia's account?
400,000, give or take.
I think I know exactly how to handle this situation.
We'll be in Santa Barbara in about 15 minutes.
Did Chris arrange for a rental car?
Yes, but she warned me it's no limousine.
Grell. Take Saunders' car up to that old shack behind the landfill. Stash it in there. And hey, get out of uniform. Okay?
So it was Julia's grandfather who founded Bancroft.
Yes, he was an oil wildcatter. Spent his last $100 to buy a field they said wouldn't even yield water. He pumped 50 million barrels of oil before it finally played out.
Then Julia was born here?
Yes, but when she was 1 year old, she and her family moved to Texas. She was my neighbor for 15 years.
Why would Julia want Jim Saunders to go to Bancroft if she's been gone so long?
I've been wondering about that since Jim's call. Roy, that was his car. Turn around.
Hang on. You sure that's Jim's car?
I sure am. He's got personalized license plates.
Well, in that case, he won't mind saying hello to an old friend.
That's not Jim, but it's his car.
Well, let's pull him over and find out what's going on. CJ! CJ!
I can't stand it. Open it. I can't. Not ever? Julie, it's too thin. I have the feeling it's a rejection, and if it is, I don't know what I'm gonna do. CJ, if I can get in, you can get in. Look, if I don't make it in Harvard Law School, do you still want me to be your law partner? Hey, come on, what kind of silly question is that? Of course I will. But first, we are going to open this. Well, you're in. I'm in. I'm in. You're in. I made it.
CJ? CJ? Are you all right?
How long have I been out?
No more than a minute. We hit pretty hard. Are you sure you're all right?
What about Jim's car?
Gone.
Roy, something terrible has happened to him.
Well, I think maybe this will get us back to Bancroft. I'm going to get to the sheriff's office there and we'll start to find some answers.
Morning.
Howdy. We are looking for a visitor to your town, young fellow named Jim Saunders.
Tall, early 30s, dark hair.
Aha. Well, now, this Saunders fella, does he drive a spiffy silver sports car?
Yes, he does.
That was parked in front of the hotel yesterday. You might inquire over there.
Have you seen him today?
No.
Are you sure about that?
Do you have some reason for doubting my word?
I'm sorry, but Jim called me yesterday and asked me to meet him here. The conversation was cut short. It sounded like he was in some kind of trouble.
Trouble?
And a few minutes ago, some stranger driving Jim's car ran us off the road.
Huh. Well, it does sound like you have cause for concern, and I'll look into it. But I gotta warn you, I'm only a two-man department, so I can't make any big promises, but I'll ask around.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate anything you can do.
Mr. Bancroft, please.
Yeah, they sure are on their way. I'll take care of it. Thanks a lot, Sheriff.
Good day, folks. Welcome to Bancroft. Help you?
Howdy. We're looking for a friend, a young man named Jim Saunders.
Yeah, he checked in yesterday. Checked out a few hours later. Said an emergency came up.
Any idea what the emergency was?
He didn't say. Interest you folks in a couple of rooms?
Yes, I think you can. You thinking of interrupting Houston's vacation?
I think someone outside of this town ought to know what's going on inside of it, just in case.
In case what, Roy?
Just in case we end up disappearing like Jim Saunders.
Hello?
Hello, Matt. Is that you?
Yeah, none other. Uncle Roy, what's up?
Well, I feel guilty cutting into your valuable fishing time, but there's something I think you ought to be aware of.
Well, why don't you give me a minute to shoo all the love star females out of my cabin? We'll have a nice long chat.
I did what you told me to do on the phone. Put them in rooms 22 and 23.
And you remembered to disconnect the phone.
I tell you what, Uncle Roy, it sounds to me like... Hello?
Hello, Matt? I think we just wore out our welcome.
My name is Moonshine Moody. I understand that you folks are looking for Mr. Saunders.
You know where he is?
Come on, follow me. I'd like to know just why you folks are looking for Mr. Saunders.
He's a friend of mine. He asked me to meet him here. My name is C.J. Parsons.
No one in town seems to know what happened to him.
I do. I'll take you to him.
What's the word on Julia Martin, Chris?
I haven't been able to locate her anywhere, Houston. I tried all her offices. London, Paris, Rome. You name it, I phoned it.
But keep trying and keep in touch. I'll check in from Bancroft if I haven't heard from him.
Your friend's in here.
Jim?
I did my best to help him. All busted up inside from the crash. I'm sorry, miss. Real sorry. But the sheriff's the one who did it. They're all involved, every one of them.
Involved in what?
Before your friend died, he gave me these. They've been drilling for oil. Shucks, ain't been no oil here in 50 years. But Oliver Bancroft won't admit it.
According to these documents, Julia sent $3 million to build a children's medical research center, the money to be held in trust by Oliver Bancroft until additional funds are raised and plans drafted.
Oliver Bancroft is Julia's cousin.
He's also an embezzler. According to these bank records, he diverted $2.5 million from the building fund into oil drilling.
The folks here love Bancroft and want desperately to save the town. But Oliver Bancroft convinced them that drilling for oil's the only way. So they do whatever he says.
How come you don't?
I did. Until your friend told me what was really going on, and I couldn't stand by and see Mr. Bancroft steal Julia blind.
Why would Julia want to build a children's research center in Bancroft?
Julia was born here. All of her wealth came from this town. And she was the type of lady that wanted to give something back. Wonderful lady, just like her father.
There's another reason. Julia? Everybody downstairs is waiting for you.
Hey, we made it, didn't we? 4 years of college and 3 years of law.
And we're just getting started. Julia, what's wrong?
I'm gonna have to give you a rain check on that legal crusade, partner. The doctors finally found out why I'm feeling so tired. And it seems I've got myself a slightly terminal blood disease. I wanted very badly to leave my mark, CJ. I wanted very bad to leave something important behind.
And you will. I know you will.
Julia must have gotten suspicious. Sent Jim Saunders to check on her research center. Once he got here, he probably tumbled to what Bancroft was really doing.
Mr. Bancroft convinced the whole town that your friend was with a rival oil company out to cheat him. And these people here do anything to protect their little town. That's how come nobody would help Mr. Saunders.
Julia trusted her cousin so completely. When she finds out about it,
It'll probably be too late, because her cousin's leaving town. What's left of Julie's money in the bank the first thing Monday morning. I overheard the sheriff talking about it.
That means we've got to get to Santa Barbara as quickly as possible, round up legitimate authority, and come back and clean house. Sheriff.
Sheriff?
Is there a back door?
There he is now.
Wait a minute, I thought he burned up in that station wagon.
Well, if he didn't burn up, those records didn't burn either.
is pulling into Bancroft now, Chris. What have you got?
A telegram from Julia's financial advisor in New York asking CJ to meet Julia and Bancroft today.
I'll pass that along to CJ when I find her.
You don't understand. We've done nothing wrong.
Nothing but murder and grand theft?
Jim Saunders was the thief. He stole some valuable documents from me and tried to get away.
Documents proving that you embezzled millions from your cousin.
I was justified in doing that. To save Bancroft and to make it the boomtown it once was, I spent every penny of my own drilling for oil.
And then you started using Julia's money.
Temporarily. Just long enough to strike oil.
That money was earmarked for a children's research center.
Research center be damned. I mean, the only thing that's going to save this town is oil.
These drilling records and geological surveys conclude that there is no oil.
They're wrong. I mean, they said the same thing to my grandfather 50 years ago, and he brought in gusher after gusher.
Until all the oil was gone.
No. On his deathbed, my grandfather swore to me that he had barely scratched the surface, and he made me promise to keep drilling and put Bancroft back on the map.
So you're going to keep your promise by running out with all Julia's money?
What do you think your town is going to think when they find out what you've done to them?
I don't want to run away. I've dedicated my life to finding this oil. But people like you and Jim Saunders have left me with no choice. Sheriff locked them up. By Monday morning, we'll be on our way out of this country, and they can say damn well whatever they want.
Lock him up!
Without this, they can't prove a thing. And if they make any more trouble, I'm gonna do whatever's necessary.
Mr. Bank, this just arrived for Saunders.
Julia Martin to arrive Sunday, 5 p.m.
What'll we do?
Well, if necessary, we'll arrange for another accident. What we won't do is let anybody in town know that she's coming.
Afternoon. I'm looking for some visitors. A couple of friends of mine, they called me from here yesterday.
An attractive, dark-haired woman and a distinguished-looking older gent?
That's him.
They passed through yesterday.
They didn't stay.
Well, if they did, they would have stayed here. I run the only hotel in town.
They didn't talk to anybody else in town?
No one, except the sheriff.
And you can't miss his office. It's right down the street.
Thank you.
Call the sheriff and tell him to arrange for another boarder.
Where'd you get this?
Follow me.
One hell of a welcome wagon.
That's all right. But your two friends are in jail.
Why?
They know too much, just like Miss Parsons' friend, Jim Saunders.
He in jail, too?
No, he's dead. And we're gonna be dead, too. We don't get out of sight.
Jim Saunders died because he knew too much.
But there's only two of us. They got the whole town. Those are rotten odds.
I'm a sucker for long shots. Come on.
I lost him.
You lost him? How the hell do you lose a grown man in broad daylight in a town this size?
He hasn't gone far. His car's still here.
Well, then go on. Get him before... You lost him, all right. Come on.
Howdy.
Can I help you?
Well, I just stopped by to parole some friends of mine. Come on.
Houston.
Come on, unlock it.
Make it fast. You're spoiling my nephew's vacation.
You have no idea how good it is to see you.
Give me the keys.
We've lost him. He must have doubled back. Turn around. Turn around.
Time for some fancy driving.
Some fancy driving.
Okay. Everything's ready to go.
Good. Julia's plane will be landing in less than an hour. Okay, folks, it's checkout time. I'm afraid the Houstons are about to embark on a little trip.
One way, that is.
As for Miss Parsons, I think it would be pleasant for Julia to see a friendly face when she lands, which will also be the last thing Julia sees.
Tell me something. How are you going to explain the murder of two innocent women?
They'll die, tragically, when Julia's plane is blown to bits in a refueling accident. Come on, make it quick.
They ever happen to teach you how to slip out of handcuffs?
Had a lot of class
tests and escape techniques. I flunked everyone.
Okay, Sheriff. Get out. Get out the car. Lay down right over there. Very careful. Lay down right over there. Lay down over there. Down. That's it. All right, Sheriff. I want you to lay down there and be uncomfortable because you ain't going nowhere. Stay right there. Don't tell them my license expired in 1964. Yeah.
Which way to the airstrip?
Right down the road, sir.
Don't mind keeping an eye on the sheriff for me.
Be a pleasure. Be a pleasure.
All set. When the plane lands, it'll pull over here to park. When the front tire touches that cable, she'll blow.
On the ground!
What the hell is going on around here?
It's a long story.
You must be C.J. Parsons. I'm Julia's financial advisor, Bruce Severs.
Where's Julia?
I'm sorry. She was already dead when I sent you the telegrams asking you to be here.
What happened?
After 10 years in remission, the leukemia returned. She told me that she wanted to be buried here, your birthplace, among her friends, especially you. Before she died, she gave me this. It's a check. The final $3.5 million made out to Bancroft Building Fund. Her last wish was to see her research center completed.
It will be. Guaranteed.
Betty Lou Montgomery. I think we'll always be best friends. Forever and ever.
Hey, what are you smiling about?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Let's go to dinner.
Okay. Smiling about nothing.
When you were a kid, did you have a best friend?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Now I have a better one.
It's a beautiful setting for a wedding, isn't it?
Yeah, Paul always had a weakness for the ocean.
And pretty ladies.
Just following the lead of my best man and best friend. In fact, if it hadn't been for Houston, Bonnie and I never would have met.
Matt used to come and drag Paul out once a month to go sailing. That's where we first ran into each other.
Literally. Bonnie was in a little Hobie cat. I was the wheel of Houston's boat. And then I saw this beautiful brunette. And I just couldn't take my eyes off of her.
That's right. He steered off course, damn near sunk my boat.
How does it feel to be the catch of the day?
Catch of a lifetime.
Hi, girls. Bonnie?
You're a lucky man, Paul. She's a special lady. I envy you.
Oh, now that's a switch.
What's that supposed to mean?
Houston, I have envied you since day one in college. Rice University's BMOC, class president. You were fighting off more cheerleaders than you were tacklers. Good days.
Best are yet to come, my friend.
I agree.
Good.
Hey, Lois, can I get a copy of that snapshot?
One of each.
When do you leave leave for Acapulco?
Tomorrow. Tonight it's the honeymoon suite at the Majestic Bay Hotel.
And then first thing in the morning, it's up, and away.
I never ever thought I'd be this happy.
Hey, you better get used to it.
I have a confession to make.
You do. Don't worry about it. I took you for better or worse.
Good. Because I'm a tickle freak.
Oh, well, all's fair in love and war. Oh. Have I told you lately I love you, Mrs. Chapman?
Not in at least 5 minutes, Mr. Chapman.
I love you.
Room service.
Surprise. Don't you go away.
Still piecing it together. Killer grabbed a waiter, stole his uniform, came in here and knocked out your friend, and, well, you know the rest.
Nothing was taken.
Right, this is not a robbery.
Paul didn't get a look at the killer.
Got hit the moment he opened the door. After that, everything was a blur.
Jump, please.
You said you were his best man at his wedding? Right now, what he needs is a best friend.
I watched it happen. There was nothing I could do. Bonnie kept calling to me for help, and all I could do was watch.
Nothing you could do.
I better go with her. No, I have to.
Oh,
I have to!
You can't go with her, damn it!
She's gone, Paul. She's gone.
What am I supposed to do now? I can't go back to that house without her.
You're gonna come home with me.
We gotta find out who did this, Houston. We have to.
We'll find him.
All right, since Paul was just knocked out, there was nothing stolen. Now, Bonnie had to be the target all along.
Premeditation.
Yeah, but why? Paul, did Bonnie have any enemies?
Everybody loved her.
And what about old boyfriends? A crazy one, a jealous one?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Russ Sloan. He was pretty upset when Bonnie broke things off with him. My God, That's it, Matt. He could be the one.
You sure you're not reaching?
No, look, he kept phoning her. He was threatening her. He was pleading with her. He even took to following us around with binoculars.
Well, let's go pay a visit to this Russ Sloan fella. Come on.
What do you want? Bonnie's dead.
I know it.
Look, my name's Matt Houston. I'm a private investigator. Paul's asked me to look into Bonnie's death.
So why are you talking to me?
Could we go inside and talk for a minute?
Did he tell you I killed her?
Where were you last night, Sloan?
I'll handle this, Paul.
Hey, you know, you got a hell of a nerve coming over here accusing me of murdering Bonnie. I loved her so much.
I just want to talk to you for a
Hey,
minute.
I was out to dinner when she was killed. I got a restaurant full of witnesses. It says here you were in the room when it happened. That you watched the whole thing. I'll tell you something, pal. If it had been me married to her, I sure as hell would have been man enough to protect her.
I can see by the look on your face, the ex-boyfriend lead turned out to be a dud.
Hell, I won't know for sure. Till I check out his alibi, what'd you come up with?
Police forensics came up with one single stray fingerprint, too smudged to be categorized.
Houston, we've been going through the guest list of the wedding. To be honest with you, we don't know what we're looking for.
Paul is on the razor's edge.
He's a grown man, Matlock. He can take care of himself.
Well, I'm not so sure. He loved Bonnie with every ounce of strength he had.
Commend our brother and sister to the Lord, and the Lord receive him and her into his peace. Raise up his body and hers on the last day. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust, in sure and certain hope of the resurrection and to eternal life. Amen.
Could have prevented this.
Had no way of knowing, Houston.
Paul was my best friend. College, we were always around to give each other a helping hand. Well, he's gone. DJ, you shouldn't have done it. It's not right. Suicide is not an answer.
Houston, he was confused. He didn't know where to turn.
He needed my help.
You did everything you could.
That's not good enough. It's just not good enough. See, there's somebody out there now that's killed 2 people with 1 blow.
thought you'd be interested in this.
Who was she?
Mary Ann Klein, actually make that Crawford. She was married 6 hours ago.
A serial killer?
That's what it looks like. Just claimed his second victim.
His third victim, Hoyt.
I heard about Paul's suicide. I'm sorry.
Look, we have got to stop this man before he kills again.
We're doing everything possible. We haven't got a single clue.
Well, look, don't serial killers usually use some kind of a pattern?
Don't you think I know that? And we're looking for that pattern. Look, Houston, this killer could strike again tomorrow and disappear for 2 years. He or she could be in another part of the country by now.
Could also be stalking his next victim right underneath our noses.
Right. Hopefully, forensics will come up with something this time. Until then, all we can do is wait. Houston! I don't suppose I could talk you into leaving this to us.
With my best friend and his bride dead?
Well, just be patient, old buddy.
I can't be patient.
Hello?
Nora, who is it? Curtain time in 30 minutes, dear. You better get started.
Nora with love, no signature.
Someone you haven't told me about? Skeletons in the closet? Maybe we should call the wedding off.
And take back all those presents? You gotta be kidding.
It is just lovely. I absolutely adore it. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything, Mrs. Saboroff.
Nora?
Stay away from me.
Nora! You don't understand. Look, you got the rose, didn't you? Then listen, I know that you're getting married, and, well, I just don't think you should.
I'd say you were the last person who has the right to say that.
Nora, you can't get married. I love you.
That's ridiculous. We haven't seen each other in years, and we both know the reason why.
I'm just asking you not to do it.
There is something you have got to understand. I am getting married on Saturday, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Still at it, I see.
Yes, and realizing that Hoyt was right. There's not enough here to establish a pattern.
One thing is for certain, the killer does his homework. See, he always seems to know all the details about the victims' weddings, even right down to the fact that he knows where they're going to spend their wedding night.
So we're trying to find out how he knows.
Baby's putting together a list right now of all the merchants and vendors that serviced both weddings.
The caterers, the musicians, the people who make the place cards, the whole works.
And if one of those services was used for both weddings...
It means that one of their employees could be our killer.
Bingo. This is the only one that serviced both weddings.
Parkdale Floors.
This is a very small business here. I haven't had any regular help for years.
But you did supply flowers to both those weddings.
Yes.
Well, it just seems like a coincidence that both parties decided to use you.
Well, actually, I was the one who contacted them. As I said, this is a small business here, and I have to drum up as much as possible myself.
How do you know these people are getting married?
I subscribe to a clipping service. You see, they collect all sorts of news items to sell to various merchants. Me, I'm interested in weddings. And this clipping service lists every single one of them.
What clipping service do you use?
Mackenzie's clipping service.
Can you tell me where I'd find supervisor? Excuse me, miss. My name's Matt Houston. I'm a private investigator. I wondered if you could point me in the direction of the person who does all the wedding announcement clipping.
Oh, we all clip everything. We're just assigned to different papers. However, most everybody's gone home for the day. I'd like to come back tomorrow and talk to my staff.
Thank you.
I'm glad he's all right. Tell me, did you get a look at the assailant?
Nope.
Any idea who might be trying to kill Houston this week?
Maybe.
Do you people care if anyone tries to kill Houston?
Nope. Matter of fact, I'm thrilled.
Are you out of your mind?
No, I'm just getting very close to the honeymoon killer. He's the one that attacked me.
But you can't be sure of that.
Look, Hoyt, I tracked the killer to a downtown clipping service. Now, no one followed me there, but somebody tried to kill me on the way out. I was getting too close. Honeymoon killer works at the Mackenzie Clipping Service.
Okay, Houston. Sounds like you got enough to get a search warrant. It'll probably take me till morning. I'll call you when I get it.
Thank you, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Give you a ride home?
No. Just give me a ride back downtown to the Mackenzie Clipping Service. Hoyt may be able to wait till tomorrow, but I can't.
There is a trick in opening this kind of a door.
I know. I just gotta get a little bit to the left. That ought to do it.
If you would allow me, we used to teach this trick in the company in special classes. But I think it was my old rival Karpov who perfected the technique. Of course, we usually preferred to use a silencer. What are you doing?
Paying for the Karpov technique.
Oh. So, what we need is a complete list of all the employees, and the supervisor probably has that. Find something?
Think I found our killer.
Perry Brandon. Clipping of Bonnie's wedding announcement. The second victim's wedding announcement. And here's one taking place tomorrow at the Queen of Angels Church. Our killer's next victim, it would seem.
Seems like he's been doing his homework.
Well, maybe it's time we asked him about that.
So where do we find him?
What are you waiting for?
See if you can tell me that there's a special trick to opening this lock.
Nope, not me. However, Peerless Eddie Pierpoint, the lock-picking specialist at the company, had a technique. Always make sure the door is locked first. I don't care for his decorator.
Says you broke into his apartment, started rummaging through his things. He tried to stop you, and you beat him up. Don't worry, I don't believe him.
So, you just gonna let him go?
Because I have no choice. Everything we've got on him is illegally obtained evidence. Now, why didn't you wait until I got the search warrant this morning?
Because I didn't want somebody else to get killed in the meantime, Hoyt. Now, I'm telling you, he is our killer.
You're probably right. His records show that he underwent psychiatric treatment in college. His girlfriend broke up with him, and he beat her half to death. But if we book that man now, they'll throw the whole case out.
So what do you want us to do? Just wait until he kills the girl we saw in the clipping we found?
No. We put a tail on him. We put a unit 24 hours at his apartment, and I'll be at that Queen of Angels church in the morning at the wedding. Houston, look, you've done a hell of a job on this one. But we will carry it from here on in.
Something bothering you, isn't it, boy?
Yes, it is. It's all too simple. It's just gone too easy. I mean, the closer we got to Brandon, the easier it got. It's almost as if he wanted us to find him.
Wonder why.
Let's ask the psychiatrist.
We psychiatrists aren't supposed to give out information like that.
Let me guess. Now is when you start quoting from your book of ethics on patient's confidentiality.
I have no other choice. Besides, I haven't treated him in over 10 years.
Well, suppose I tell you that your former patient, Perry Brandon, has killed 2 women.
What? You mean he actually went through with it? Murder?
You knew in advance?
Oh, no, I mean... Well, he talked about doing it, but I didn't believe him. I can remember he sat in my office and he ranted and raved about this girl who rejected a proposal of marriage. A girl that he'd spotted in one of his college classes. You know, Brandon was a shy type. He kind of admired her from afar. He started sending her flowers and letters from a secret admirer. And then one day, he shows up on her doorstep with 2 tickets to Las Vegas and tells her they're going to be married that night. And remember, this girl had never spoken one word to him.
Of course, you said no.
The rejection sent Brandon into a rage. He slapped her around. I remember he slapped her around quite a bit. That's when his parents insisted that he come and see me.
This girl, what's her name?
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I've told you too much already.
Look, Doctor, if you don't give us the girl's name, she's going to die.
Ethically, I can only tell the intended victim, her family, and the police, if I'm convinced that a murder is about to take place. Frankly, you've convinced me that one is.
Well, that's good. That's good. So give us the girl's name, then you can go back into your office and be ethical as hell. Call the police. But just give us the girl's name.
Her name is Nora. Nora Fulton.
How would you like to make $50? I want you to drive around and meet me in the back of the store.
Nora Fulton.
I knew it. That's the same girl that Brandon has a picture of in his apartment and office.
What's her marital status?
It's funny you should ask. She's getting married today.
Well, that explains what set him off again.
Why would he want to kill those other girls if all he wanted was Nora?
Don't you see, if he just killed Nora, he would be a prime suspect. Remember, he attacked her in college.
So he killed those other brides so it would look like a serial murder?
That explains the stuff that we found in his office. He was reading up on serial killers. He wanted the police to believe that the killer was somebody who hated all brides, not one in particular.
He made that other announcement to throw us off, which means,
Which means that Hoy's at the wrong wedding.
And we've got about 5 minutes to get to the right one.
And do you, Nora, take Cyrus as thy lawful husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or worse, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do you part.
I do.
Excuse me, can you tell me the wedding party, where'd they go?
All left. This is one of those short services. I do, you do, we gone.
Where'd they go?
Down to the water, I think. Something about a reception on a boat.
I think a reception was mentioned in the wedding announcement. Yeah, here it is. Surfside Marina, slip 37.
Let's go. Call CJ, tell her to get a hold of Hoyt. Have him meet us there.
Are such romantic.
Absolutely incurable. Oh, I wish we could cancel the reception.
My sentiments, exactly.
It's too late. That'll be the caterers. I'll tell them where to set up.
Check on the girl. Right.
shoot me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please.
You know, I've been looking forward to this. But you're just not worth it. You better take this before I change my mind.
Never in your life will you have tasted such wine. Truly the elixir of the gods.
Oh, you've already got me drooling. I just think $1,000 a bottle's a little steep.
And it's worth every drop. But of course, I didn't pay $1,000 for it. It was a gift to me by an overly amorous, deep cover belly dancer on the Isle of Crete.
Well, I mean, a bottle that valuable, we probably ought to keep it in the safe.
Anybody can get in a safe. That's the reason I put it in here.
Well, did they teach you any classes on how to get into a file safe at the company?
I don't see you being very helpful.
Having a problem, gentlemen? Chris and I were working on some legal stuff, but why are you guys here so late?
We're just trying to get the file cabinet open.
Anytime you need some help,
Let us know.
Here, come here.
You know, you'd think, with all these men around, I could find one even vaguely interested. But there's hope. I got a note from some guy at the luau last night to meet him here at the Catamaran at 3. Is it 3 yet? Half past. Oh. Well, it looks like the only thing I'm going to be taking home from this vacation is a tan line. Oh.
Didn't you tell me that you have a fiancé in Chicago?
Sure, but a girl's entitled to bring back a souvenir, isn't she?
I see.
Time for a little more basting.
think it's time for the plunge.
Water must be real cold, huh?
Whereby the aggrieved party of the first part does consent to contest a lawful testimony by a peripheral party, part and parcel 2. This is gibberish.
Nope, that's legalese.
Well, what's the difference?
Legalese is gibberish, written by lawyers at about $200 an hour.
Houston, CJ's on the phone.
Hey, CJ, how's the vacation?
Well, it was fine until late this afternoon. That's when a guest disappeared into the ocean. I was with her when it happened, Houston.
Accident?
I don't think so. Neither does the owner of the club, Andrew Moffat. He's here with me now. And the Coast Guard is still looking for the body. Houston,
Don't tell me you volunteered our services, right?
I hope you don't mind.
Not at all. First thing in the morning, be soon enough.
See you then. Thanks.
I made a terrible mistake, you see. 3 days ago, another girl died.
Janet Rogers, another guest of the hotel. She was found dead at the base of a sea cliff.
The next morning, I received this note.
I killed Janet Rogers. I can kill whenever and whoever I want. Put $1 million in cash under the split palm south end of the beach. Midnight. Tell no one or more will die.
Nice basic extortion.
I thought the note was some sort of a sick joke. You see, Janet Rogers' death looked like a simple accident. And the local surf punks have been harassing all the club owners in the area. Graffiti, smoke bombs.
So you never really took the threat seriously?
No. I never phoned the police. And I never made the payment. I guess I might as well have drowned Beth myself.
Well, you made the mistake of omission, Mr. Moffat, but you're not guilty of murder. Most important thing is that we try and prevent another one. CJ, you better get on the phone to Hoyt.
Sending over a forensics team, and he'll be here himself as soon as he can break away.
We've got to close the club as quickly as possible.
Of course. I don't want to jeopardize anyone else's life. But I don't know where I can raise that kind of money. Mr. Houston, every penny I have is invested in this club.
Worry about the money later. We've got to get the guests safely away from here.
You think there'll be another extortion note?
I'm sure of it. See, once we get the guests away from here, the killer will have no bargaining power. Hopefully he'll move on.
Or kill me.
Mr. Moffat, do you have any idea at all who's behind all this?
For all I know, it could be one of the guests. That's picture Janet Rogers, the first victim. Oh. And this is a picture of Beth Thompson, the second victim.
You have photos of all the guests at the hotel.
We try to take arrival photos of all our guests. They get a picture as a souvenir, and we use the pictures to keep track of who's who, remember them by name. It gives the hotel a more personal touch.
Okay. We have copies of all guest lists, employee records, businesses who supply us. Roughly anybody who has anything to do with the club is right here.
Terrific, thank you.
You're welcome.
Houston, I'm going to take all this info back to the office. Uncle Roy and I will put Baby to work on it. The Coast Guard still hasn't recovered a body.
I'll keep you posted.
I still don't understand what you're looking for.
I don't know, a foothold. Maybe an employee with a past, a guest with a grudge. Maybe a connection between the two victims is something that might let us know why this is happening and who's doing it.
Suppose it's just someone who figures my club as an easy target for $1 million scam.
We pray that he makes a mistake. I'd like to see the spot where the first victim fell.
All right. Where her body was found on the rocks below, we figured that Janet either fell or was pushed from right about here. It was festival night. Torches on the beach, fireworks exploding over the sea.
How many people have been up here since then?
Oh, any number. It's a very popular spot. People come up here to be by themselves or with someone else for a little romantic privacy.
Now, CJ told me that the second victim, Beth, had received a note telling her to meet somebody on a catamaran. Now, Janet Rogers could have been lured up here the same way.
You're right.
Hold it.
That could be Janet's.
Or the killer's.
It's on vacation. I'm here for less than 24 hours and I have to leave. I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. It's for your own protection.
I'll see if anyone has reported any jewelry missing, and I'll check with the staff, see if they can recognize the earring.
Oh, Mr. Houston, this is for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who gave this to you?
Nobody. I found it here on the reception desk.
Thank you. I know who you are. If you care to discuss it further, be at Lomax Cove 230.
No signature.
Where is this Lomax Cove?
I'll point you in the right direction.
Actually,
All right, the game's over, and so's this little extortion plot of yours.
Mine. You're the one who killed Janet Rogers.
Wrong. I'm a private investigator. I've been hired to find out who killed her. Who the hell are you? Joey Martin, private detective.
We're on the same side.
Just a reminder, buses will be leaving for the airport every 15 minutes. Everyone must be checked out of the hotel in the next 2 hours.
Houston, you're just lucky I had the presence of mind not to kill you.
You did try and kill me. I'm just lucky you can't shoot straight.
You're just jealous because I'm a lot farther along in this case than you are.
Wait a minute. You want to know how far along I am on this case? I'll tell you, I'm far enough along that I can book you on suspicion of murder.
Me?
Yeah, you. See, I found your earring up on that cliff where the first victim fell to her death. Huh? Huh?
Well, if you were a trifle more observant, Mr. Houston, you would notice that I'm wearing 2 earrings. Unless, of course, you're dumb enough to think that I carry a spare. And if you knew anything about jewelry, you'd know that those are antique. Handmade, very rare. An heirloom. There are only 2 pair in existence. One belongs to me. And the other to my sister.
You mean to tell me that the first victim, Janet Rogers, was your sister?
My one and only.
Sorry.
She was divorced last year.
That explains a different last name.
She never quite got over the divorce. I convinced her that a vacation here might be the best medicine. Last week, Janet called me and told me that she'd met a man she was crazy about. That was the morning before she was killed.
You think this fella lured her up to the cliff, pushed her off?
I'm sure of it. 3 days ago, I buried my sister. I stood by her grave and tried to cry. But I couldn't. Not as long as her killer was free.
I understand. Look, what made you pick me for your #1 suspect?
I worked up a profile on the killer based on my sister's description. You matched it. Tall, handsome, brown eyes, mustache. And your car. Janet said he drove a red convertible.
What if you'd killed me?
I'd have had one less suspect to worry about. I've been thinking. I've decided to let you assist me in this case.
Me assist you?
Yeah, well, since we're both working on the same case, it only makes sense that we work together.
I agree, but you can't just come charging into my game
Look,
like...
I've already drawn up a profile on the killer, and I've completed several scientific tests.
Scientific tests?
Yes, the foundation for all good detective work.
You see, I took impressions of the footprints up on that cliff before you trampled all over them. Our suspect is 6'2", weighs 170, 180 pounds, and his left leg is slightly shorter than his right leg, which forces him to wear corrective shoes. Now, all of that was readily apparent from the spacing and depth of the footprints.
Any distinguishing birthmarks? Let's don't forget about the dark hair, dark eyes, and mustache, and the red convertible. CJ, Uncle Roy, this is Zoe Martin.
Hi.
How do you do?
To meet you.
She's a private investigator. Her scientific methods nearly got me killed earlier.
Well, maybe so, but she also just described our prime suspect.
In the club guest list, there was one man whose name was a phony. This man.
He called himself Tad. Tad Peterson.
Tad Peterson does not exist.
But Frederick John Logan does.
Once we had the phony name, Hoyt was able to track down Logan from the fingerprints on the traveler's checks he used to pay his club bill.
Convicted felon. Extortion is his specialty.
According to Hoyt's sources, he is very professional, very persistent.
But why did he choose my beach club?
Well, it's isolated, rather small, catered to the rich.
That's his M.O., Mr. Moffat. A year ago, he pulled the same number, an exclusive club on Long Island. The result was 3 dead bodies and $2 million ransom.
We are dealing with a very calculating, methodical, and lethal businessman.
So my only sister was a victim picked at random. For business reasons.
Says here that he's got dark hair, dark eyes, mustache, weighs 178 pounds, and wears corrective shoes.
Somehow I don't quite feel like saying I told you so anymore.
Go find him, Zoe.
It looks as though the Coast Guard divers have found something else.
Thank you. I tried to get here earlier, Houston, but I got a gang war in progress, a major drug bust about to go down, and some psychos running around killing hookers. Whoever named this place the City of Angels got a sick sense of humor.
Well, at least we've identified the man behind this one.
Any luck on the all points on Logan?
You know, an APB is hardly sufficient. We need protection from Moffat, a tracer on his telephones, and a rotating staff of at least 3 detectives to patrol the grounds in case Logan decides to make a ransom note drop.
Just what I need. Another private eye.
Would you let me handle this, please?
Houston, he's just a cop. Don't let him bully you.
Just a cop?
He's just trying to help us.
Just a cop?
We don't want him getting in our way.
Your way? He is on our side.
Houston, we've got the situation under control.
Hey, hold it! Thank you. Now, if you don't mind, we'll sit down. We'll logically go through this and discuss the next best course of action. All right? Look,
Like
wait,
I said,
we've got
first thing we've got to do is get protection on Moffat.
two
Secondly,
victims
the
who don't
tracers on the
seem to have
telephone.
anything in
Thirdly, I
common.
don't know how you can
I found
possibly
an
get by with
earring
less than
up
3
on a
guards in
cliff.
this place.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 3.
Testing.
1,
2, 3.
You should have listened to me, Moffat. You should have paid me off when you had the chance.
Okay, maybe I made one mistake. Tried to make the murders look like accidents so the cops wouldn't get involved. No matter. You're still gonna give me what I want. I really didn't want to have to kill anyone else, but you forced my hand, Moffat, so I've enclosed a picture. Study it carefully, my friend. Very carefully. Because by the end of the night, someone in this picture is going to be dead. Perhaps then we'll talk business.
Got to track down all the guests in this photograph, put them under some kind of protection.
Most of them are from out of state. Some of them have gone to other clubs to finish up their vacations. It could take all night.
Better brew some more coffee, Mr. Moffat.
I'll call and arrange for extra personnel.
CJ, I think it would save a lot of time if you went back to the office, ran all the hotel guest names through Baby. See if we can find out where they can be located now.
Okay, on my way.
He's playing with us, you know.
Yeah, I know that. Worst part is he's winning.
Looks like there are 15 people in this bus, but we may have to have the picture enlarged to see the ones in shadow.
Logan told us to study the picture carefully.
So what's your point?
Maybe we shouldn't be looking for the obvious.
Like instead of one of the guests being Logan's target, could be someone else, like, say, the bus driver?
CJ.
CJ! Stop! Seems I picked a worthy adversary. You saved the woman's life. Congratulations. But that won't stop me. No.
just makes it more interesting. And because you've involved other people, the ante of our little game has gone up. Deliver $2 million to the phone booth in Franklin Park on the corner of Miramar and Maine. 2 p.m. today. Come along. No cops. Please don't make me kill anyone else.
$2 million. I was having trouble raising one. I'm telling you, I don't have that kind of money.
You know, Logan doesn't know that. We've got to go ahead with the drop as though we had the money. Hopefully that'll buy us enough time before he finds out we're bluffing. It's the only shot we have at him.
Big risk, boy.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm gonna make the drop. Hoyt will back me up.
I'll arrange to have you wired.
I think it'd be best if Matt drove Moffat's car.
Houston, I'm going with you.
Now, you know as well as I do that if Logan sees 2 people in that car, he may bolt.
Logan killed my sister. I'm gonna nail this guy.
I know how you feel, but under the circumstances, there's no way...
You can't leave me behind.
Do you always get what you want?
Most always.
All right, I'll talk to Hoyt, see if you can ride in one of the tail cars.
Ride along in one of the tail cars? Forget it.
I told you this is too dangerous.
Forget it. Just forget it.
He's wired.
Get the drop-off point covered? Couple plainclothesmen are there already.
I hope they keep their distance. Let's go.
Yeah? You're not Moffat.
No, but I work for him. He was afraid to meet with you. Now, I am here, I've got the money, and I'm alone.
We'll see. There's a phone in the park on the other side of the hill. Be there in 2 minutes for further instructions, or you're a dead man.
He's suspicious. I've got 2 minutes to get to the other side of the park. He's testing me to make sure that I'm alone. Just be careful. We'll blow the whole setup.
Stop worrying. We'll keep our distance. But when you're ready to make the drop, give us the location and we'll be there.
satisfied?
Not until I get the money. But at least I'm certain you aren't being followed. Meet me at the east end of the park where you'll find a closed refreshment stand. 10 minutes.
Well, all right, it worked. He thinks I'm alone. Just don't get too close to me.
Sure, sure. But where's the drop point?
Wants me to meet him in about 10 minutes.
Is that a coincidence?
Keep coming. Hand me the briefcase.
Zoe.
Get away from me, idiot! I'm all right, but he's getting away.
Wait a minute.
Oh, nice job, P.I. Bulletproof vest. One of us knows what we're doing.
He outsmarted us, Hoyt, plain and simple.
Simple is the operative word here.
And I suppose letting Logan shoot you is your idea of scientific detective work?
I wore a vest. I had the downside
And
covered.
you almost got your backside blown off.
While Logan got away.
We'll catch him.
No, we won't. You're both off the case. From now on, this is strictly police business.
You can't do that. We've been here from the very beginning.
Hello? Okay, now start the tracer.
Moffat, we had an agreement. You broke it. Nobody ever does that to me and gets away with it. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever you say this time. I hope you do. For your sake, because now it's personal. Your guests are safe, but your family isn't. Your beautiful godson in Pasadena? Your mother in Ventura? They might be the next target. Or maybe someone else. Maybe you. How do you know about my family? I'm a smart man, Moffat. Much smarter than you or your friends. Get the money. $2 million. Or someone you love very much is gonna die.
Thank you very much. Could only trace it to Section 63. That's as close as they could get.
Let's go, DiMaggio. I'm sorry, Moffat. Logan wasn't on the phone long enough to complete the trace, but we were able to narrow it down to a small area near the port of L.A. Now, I'm going to order every available unit right down there. We'll search door to door if we have to. I want you two to stay out of it. And if you try to pull anything cute,
Your problem.
let's go, Moffat.
You're not going to let him tell you what to do.
I just did. But it doesn't mean I have to listen to him. Are you familiar with the art of scientific detection, Miss Martin? Let's run the last tape Logan sent.
Deliver $2 million to the phone booth in Franklin Park on the corner of Miramar and Main.
Here.
2 p.m. today.
That whistle in the background. Now, I just heard it when Logan called again.
So?
Well, did you hear the sequence of boat whistles? It's a signal that a ship uses when it approaches a drawbridge. There's only one drawbridge into Port L.A.
There's his car.
Big place.
I'll
take the front. Now, this is turning out to be a hell of a relationship.
This isn't a relationship. This is a business.
Is it?
Okay, you take the front. Considering our past experience with Mr. Logan, I'd say there's a high degree of probability that he'll choose an alternate avenue of egress.
Is that a scientific deduction?
Women's intuition.
Great.
Hello.
I thought you were dead.
Well, I'm not. But you are.
Zoe?
Drop the gun, Houston. This is between Logan and me. He killed my sister.
Now, look, I know how you feel, but...
I said drop the gun. Now kick it away. Don't come any closer. If you really know how I feel, you'll let me handle this my way.
Look, let's talk about this.
Let's not.
Zoe, you have got him. The two murders, the extortion, they're gonna put him away for life. You don't have to kill him.
You sound like Hoyt.
I sound like a professional. This is business, remember?
Is it? Just go get him!
Another order. Mine.
Don't worry, Houston. I'm not gonna shoot him. He's not worth it. I told you I wasn't gonna shoot him. I want to thank you for buying dinner tonight, Houston. We sure don't have restaurants like that back home in Seattle. Are the portions always that small?
Well, it's the least I could do. Take my favorite lady detective out to dinner on her last night in town.
Am I really your favorite?
Of course you are. You're the only lady detective I know.
Well, I think we make a great team.
You do.
With my brains and your... Well, I'm sure we could think of something for you to do.
Well, how very thoughtful of you.
Well, I'm always good to my employees.
Your employees.
I thought you might like to join me back in my Seattle office. Matt, there's so much you need to learn about scientific detection. You can't rely on brawn and good looks forever, you know. I know you'd have to start at the bottom, but...
Well, let me tell you what you can do with your bottom, Miss P.I. Martin. I mean, I have had it up to here with you. You're constantly yipping at me, telling what to do. I can't work that way. I tell you what, I've got a good mind to find a wagon, spoke, and bend you over my knee. I'm telling you what, I could never do that. I'll tell you what, you're out of here.
Party animals. Let's go to Nick's place.
What do you think, Joe?
I think we have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow.
Hey, no problem. I'll get you there on time.
Looking for something? What do you want? Money? What do you want?
My ankle!
I don't know, CJ. Maybe the blue's a little more,
Impressive.
you know, well,
I like the white myself. It's subtle yet elegant.
yeah, well, it's just that, you know, Joanne's an old friend of mine. Her daddy used to own the best clothing store in Houston. And all the years she worked there, she considered me one of her greatest challenges. So I'd like to look, you know.
Impressive.
Yeah.
That accounts for the gentleman's quarterly routine. When is she arriving?
She didn't say on the phone. She just said that she'd flown all night and wanted to see me as soon as possible. Give me that. Joanne, it's great to see you after all these years.
Houston.
I would say the blue was a good pick.
So you stumbled onto this stewardess you fly with,
Bess. Bess Jordan.
taking pictures?
Of the murder. It was horrible.
Once you ran, where did you go?
Home. My roommate wasn't there. For a while, I couldn't stop crying. And just as I started to phone the police, Bess called me.
From where?
I don't know. She'd gotten away. Oh, they stabbed Lana. Bess told me to get out of town as fast as I could. And to trust no one, not even the police.
Why would she say something like that?
It's like she knew something. Some terrible secret. I just grabbed the first plane. Matt, you gotta help me.
First thing that you have to do is go back there and explain to the authorities what you know about this whole thing.
Not alone. Please come with me.
I have a friend on the force in New Orleans. Haven't seen him in years.
About time you had a reunion.
Shall I have Chris book a flight?
My airline has a flight leaving in about an hour.
Good. Oh, CJ, I want you to stay here and mind the store. Now, while Uncle Roy and I get packed, you tell CJ everything you know about this Bess Jordan.
Bess said those men would kill me if I came back, Matt.
Don't you worry. I won't let anything happen to you.
Houston, watch out for the nightlife.
This is a passenger lounge? Looks more like a resort.
Calder Air is to flying what Cartier is to diamonds. The owner's quite a New Orleans booster. In fact, there he is.
Joanne, thank God you're all right. The New Orleans police are looking all over for you.
The police?
You were spotted along with Bess Jordan at the scene of a murder. They can't find Bess either. Why'd you run to L.A.?
To get help. Philip Calder, this is my friend Matt Houston, and his Uncle Roy. Matt and Roy are private investigators.
I see. That's all well and good, but no offense, gentlemen. The New Orleans police force is second to none. And right now, they've got some pretty serious murders on their hands. Poor Lana.
As a matter of fact, Uncle Roy has a very dear old friend on the force.
Yeah, maybe you know him, Clyde Sinclair?
Sinclair, yeah, a detective, isn't he? Close to retirement?
Close. He's had his farewell speech memorized for the last 10 years.
Well, then, any friend of New Orleans' finest is a friend of mine. Sandy, champagne for these folks. If nothing else, we'll
can celebrate the best damn town in America. Follow me. Mr. Houston, do you have accommodations?
Yes, we're staying at the Gulf Court Hotel.
Oh, good. That's one of our best. If there's anything I can do to help while you're in town, just let me know.
Thank you.
You bet. The King girl just showed, with 2 private eyes.
We still haven't found the other girl yet.
Then we nailed Joanne King. Now, before she identifies you.
Where do we find her?
In the company of one Matt Houston.
Hold it. You're under arrest.
What's the charge?
Impersonating a PI. The Roy Houston I know is out to pasture in Lotus Land, sunning his backside while the rest of us make the country safe for democracy.
Yeah? Well, I heard that the chief of police in New Orleans was thrown in jail for temporary insanity right after he hired some broken-down warhorse from Washington who can't find his gun to save himself.
Well, I can find my gun all right. I just can't remember what to do with it.
Clyde Sinclair. I want you to meet my nephew, Matlock Houston.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Sinclair. Uncle Roy's told me an awful lot about you.
Oh, well, in that case, the charge is slander.
And, this is my friend, Joanne King.
Yes, indeed. I'm obliged to invite you to the station house for a long chat, young lady.
You know, I've always found those police garrets to be rather cold. Couldn't we have this chat in our room?
You wouldn't be trying to take advantage of the 20 years we spent together in the trenches, would you, Roy?
No, I think he's referring to the excellent brandy we had delivered up to our suite.
Oh, well, come to think of it, police stations give me a chill, too. Wallace R. Dupree, Chief of Operations for the Bayou Bank of Louisiana. Recently arraigned for embezzlement and computer fraud. Charges dropped on a technicality. Now answering to that great parole board in the sky.
I saw them stab that man.
He's the latest in a long line of white-collar criminals to meet their maker in New Orleans.
It's a note pinned to his chest.
It's an order of execution, signed by a group called the Delta Tribunal.
Who are they?
They've taken up where the courts left off, in their opinion. The Delta Tribunal claims to be the sanitation department for the city's executive filth.
Sounds more like a vigilante group to me.
They call themselves Anonymous Protectors of the Innocent People of New Orleans.
Innocent people like Joanne's friend?
We still can't locate your other stewardess friend, Bess Jordan. You know where she is?
No.
All we got's her description. The airline can't locate her file photo.
Joanne, maybe you've got a photo or a snapshot or something.
Yes, I have the picture that was taken at the Dixieland Lounge that night. It's still in my purse, I think.
Could you take a look?
Hopefully that could answer one question, what Bess Jordan looks like.
That's just a drop in the Mississippi, Uncle Roy. I mean, why was she taking photographs of a murder? Where is she now? And who are the people that make up this Delta Tribunal?
If we can just get in touch with Bess Jordan, I have a feeling she'll be able to answer all our questions.
Talk to her. What do you mean? Best call Joanne.
You did what you could, son.
She traveled 1,500 miles to find me. She trusted me.
I looked everywhere for Joanne's photo of Beth. Either she didn't have it, or the killer's got it now.
And all because she walked into an alley looking for a friend.
Please, listen, stand back, all right? Come on, we gotta get some pictures. Please stand back, all right?
Oh, boy. Here comes the straw balls.
Sinclair?
Claire, what happened here? Oh, Captain, I'd like you to meet Matt and Roy Houston. These fellows are...
Private investigators. I got your message. They were coming. The question is, why are they here? And why are they involved in official police business? You were supposed to bring that stiff in for questioning.
That stiff was our client, Captain
Conroy.
Now, I talked to Detective Sinclair. He thought it would be all right if I questioned her here in her best interest.
Oh, really? You got any more ideas in her best interest? Now we've got no description. The one witness left who could ID these men is missing. I've got the press on me like a case of the hives. Enjoy our fair city. Read a brochure on your flight back.
Conroy is from an old blue blood family. He's not used to seeing his name in the paper in anything but favorable print. He's taken a lot of heat.
With his personality, I can't imagine why.
Somewhere out there is a girl who can identify Joanne's killer. We're gonna find her before they do.
Matt, I don't think my department's going to cut into any further involvement on your part.
Look, Clyde, if you have to back away from this one, we can understand.
I look at this boy's eyes, Roy, and I see you 30 years ago in Berlin. What the hell? Won't be the first time I've turned a deaf ear. Yeah? It's the C.J. Parsons.
C.J.
Houston, I talked the airline into telecopying Bess Jordan's personal record. It's not a lot of help. She was only there a couple of months, and prior to that, she seems to have no history.
No history? Where's she live?
Well, until she disappeared, she lived with another stewardess named Vi Charles.
Oh, what about a car?
Well, apparently she owned a red late model Mustang.
Well, I don't suppose the airline can explain what happened to her file picture.
Well, the clerk that I talked to said that it was just torn out of the file.
There is something rotten going on in New Orleans, C.J. I mean, why did Bess warn Joanne not to go to the police? I mean, what's going on here?
I don't have an answer for you, Houston.
Yeah, look, I know. All right. The first thing in the morning, we'll start with a visit to Bess Jordan's roommate. Thanks, C.J.
Houston, I'm sorry about Joanne.
So am I.
Feels like old times, huh, Clyde?
Hours of boredom, followed by seconds of stark terror.
Ever get tired of it?
Not for a long time. I came home to retire, and I can't wait.
You're sticking your neck out for us, Clyde. We appreciate it.
Hell, son. Me and your uncle never let a captain type run our lives 30 years ago. Why start now? Got a couple of minutes?
Gee, I have a flight to catch.
How about 1 minute?
Sure.
Any contact from Bess Jordan?
No, nothing since the last time I spoke with you guys. Can I start changing?
All right.
Thank you.
Was Bess driving her Mustang?
I guess so. She had it that night.
I don't suppose you have a picture of Bess, do you?
No, I tried to find one for the police earlier. You'd think a camera nut would have at least one picture of herself. I mean, Bess took her camera with her everywhere. She was always stopping to buy film, taking pictures of the silliest things. But do you know, in this entire apartment, there's not one picture of her.
You know anybody by the name of Neda Olmeyer?
Oh, you found one of the TV checks. That's Bess's stage name.
Neda Olmeyer?
Yes, she said she used to do
Yeah, well, I think I'm about to meet her. I'll leave word for you back at the hotel.
Here you go. Thanks.
See you later, Netta.
Excuse me, Miss Olmeyer. Wait a second. Now, look, I don't want to hurt you. I just want to talk to you, please. Now, look, I know all about Bess Jordan. Wait a second. Listen, wait, just hold it! Back over here, Netta.
aren't you?
I'm a friend of Joanne's, private investigator. Tell me something. Why are you so afraid of the police? Joanne's dead.
I didn't know.
Just like Lana. They're both killed because they were getting too close to you. How many people are going to have to die before you tell someone what you know?
I needed proof. This.
Pictures of the murder?
You want to see those animals without masks? Take a look. Well?
You still haven't explained to me why you haven't gone to the cops.
My ex-boyfriend is a cop. That's how I first learned about the Delta Tribunal and the rumor that someone in the department is a member.
Who?
I don't know yet.
Some hideout?
It belongs to my aunt. She always goes to Europe around Mardi Gras. Can't stand the crowds. Damn it. The camera must have broken when it hit the ground that night.
Which fogged your film?
I had them. A network feed for sure, and I blew it.
Well, these seem to have turned out all right.
Sure, and I can't prove a thing with them.
Who are they?
Members of the Delta Tribunal.
How do you know that?
8 months of political profiling, interviews, tailing, and guesswork. Leonard Carlisle, oil baron. Paul Delaney, Chamber of Commerce. Eleanor Sims, district judge. And this one, the high executioner.
Philip Calder, president of Calder Airlines.
I took the job with Calder Airlines to get closer to him.
That explains how they got a hold of your file photo and how they knew where to find Joanne.
The guerrillas with him are the hit team. Employees named York and Morris.
They're the ones that killed Joanne.
Yesterday, I thought I had the pictures to prove it. Today, I've got nothing.
Well, now you know that and I know that. But they don't.
What are you talking about?
Setting a trap. And what if you went to Calder, offered him those pictures for a price?
We've got no pictures.
If he takes the bait, we may as well have.
He'd kill us. You don't know these people. They never leave witnesses.
Please just listen to me, Ned. Now, we owe something to Joanne, you and me. She's lying dead on a slab of marble because I couldn't protect her. Now, both Joanne and Lana are dead because they were looking for a friend that they trusted. A friend that was using them for cover. And no television job in the world is going to change that.
I don't think you people have the sense God gave a goose. You had their heads in a vice and you let them slip. Not smart, gentlemen. Not smart at all. Philip Calder. Who? I'm listening.
I want $100,000 in cash. Pier 12 warehouse, midnight. Play straight and you get the photos instead of the morning papers.
Blackmail? I thought this was some kind of self-righteous crusade.
I finally realized it doesn't pay as well.
The negatives, too?
Yes, but I want that money personally delivered by you.
All right. But, Miss Jordan, we'd both better be playing this straight.
Heard you call for a couple of Dobermans, Clyde. They'd feel right at home with these other watchdogs.
Oh, now, believe me, these guys have better things to do. I'm sorry, Roy. Captain's orders.
Where was this guy when they passed out to Southern Charm on a coffee break? Roy Houston.
Uncle Roy, it's Matt.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Look, are you alone?
I'm with Clyde and a couple of officers.
Tell Clyde to get rid of the others.
Clyde, how about putting out a couple of dogs?
All right, thank you. Come on.
Clear.
All right, here's the scoop. I'm with Neda Ohlmeyer. We're getting ready to hook the big fish in the Delta Tribunal.
What are you talking about?
Well, some embarrassing snapshots. Some people who would like to buy them. Now, we're going to meet them at the docks at midnight. Neda's going to bring the cake, and I'm going to jump out.
Matt's with the girl. They're meeting the tribunal at midnight. You need a backup. And this captain has got me in quarantine.
Yeah. Matlock, look, if you've got a line on the tribunal, you better let us handle it.
Clyde, I believe you've got a leak in your department.
Oh, I've been hearing that for months. It's hogwash.
Maybe so. But to make sure, I've got to fly this one solo.
Son, you realize you're sticking me between a rock and a hard place just telling me this, don't you?
All I need is 6 hours.
Well, how many more times do you expect me to go deaf?
1. I want him real bad, Clyde.
What did you say? I can't hear you.
I trust you came alone, Miss Ohlmeyer. Or is it Jordan?
Ohlmeyer.
You brought the pictures? And the negatives? Let me see them.
You first.
Game's over, little girl. You lose.
Are you going to kill me like you killed Lana and Joanne?
Count on it. Right after you meet the rest of the tribunal.
I'd like to meet that bunch myself, Calder. Trust you'll make the introductions. Step over this way.
Double-crossed us. Nice going, Matlock. Coffee.
I should have known you wouldn't have missed a party like this any more than Uncle Roy.
The world is full of surprises, Mr. Houston. Welcome to the Delta Tribunal.
Matlock call?
No. Drop was an hour ago. There's something wrong. I should have been there.
I would have been there if Matlock hadn't been so all-fired convinced there's a spy in the department.
You check the docks?
Some. There's miles of waterfront, Roy. If he had just said where.
Clyde, you gotta get me out of here.
I do, and the captain's got my backside on a plank. I'm 5 months from retirement, Roy.
That's my nephew out there.
That's all I can do, Roy. Where's the Napoleon? I could use one.
Clyde, what if I call the captain and try to pull that old act about being a friend of the federal judge?
A, he's home asleep. B, it's a 100-to-1 shot.
Well, those are the best odds I've had yet. You have his number?
Address book's in my jacket. I'll make one more sweep of the docks on my way to the station. Don't worry. When did I ever let you down?
Follow that car.
I've been waiting 20 years for someone to say that.
Ronald T. Cates, 36. Professor of Sociology at City College. Known to advocate communal living and marital experimentation. Chairman of the First Amendment Committee, civil rights activist, with a history of intervention in felony prosecutions. How do you rule?
Execute. Execute.
Execute.
The tribunal has spoken. Ronald T. Cates, execution. And now, one final verdict. The tribunal has asked for a summary judgment on the lives of Netta J. Ohlmeyer, alias Bess Jordan, and Matt Houston. How do you rule?
Execute.
Phil, you're taking this too far. Negotiate with him.
Too much risk. Execute.
You people are not just killing criminals anymore, you're killing citizens.
Shut up. The verdict is...
What's going on here?
A trial. What does it look like?
But these people committed no crime.
Blackmail, assault.
Calder, you don't kill people for that.
They know too much.
Well, if we just explain to them why we've done what we've done.
You're outvoted, Clyde. Execute. Do it in the garden, Morris.
You hate the garden view. Too many mosquitoes.
Well, I hate your manners, but I love your timing.
What do you think you're doing?
Putting a box around the Delta Triangle.
Better refigure, old man. Kill them all.
Now, wait a minute. What about the vote? What kind of a tribunal is this, Calder?
He's right, Calder. You can't take the law into your own hands.
What do you think you've been doing all this time, Clyde?
The vote won't change, Clyde.
I'm sorry, Roy.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to Lou Hart and Billy and all the other friends we buried. They got worn down, too, when it seemed like the rules favor the bad guys, but they never broke those rules. They died for them.
I'm sorry about those men, Roy. But I think they'd understand what I have to do now.
huh?
Almost.
What you lost in, Uncle Roy?
Old friend. I was thinking about how they changed in the years they get away.
I always thought that the best part of old friends was that they bring out the best in one another.
Clyde's got a tough fight ahead of him, Matlock.
You got him the best lawyer in the city. He knows you care.
Yeah, I care.
So what you doing tonight?
Oh, I thought I'd just stay in. What are you going to do?
I'm going to the theater. Got the Rivington's tickets. Why don't you join us?
Maud Rivington? I think I'll just find a book.
Are you sure? I mean, we've got extra seats.
You may need two just for Maud.
Actually, Maud's not going.
No?
No, you see, I'm taking her niece and a girlfriend. They're just in from Dallas a short time. Just long enough to apply to one of our modeling schools. But if you would prefer to be alone,
Then again, misery loves company. dragged me across 2 continents to tell me something. What is it?
Petrovich.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Well, none of us has, but he's back.
It's impossible.
I saw him. He's already tried to kill me once. You remember what he said he'd do to us if we ever got out? We've got to tell the others. Go warn the others. It's too late for me. Tell Five Fingers about Petrovich.
You could say Freddie and I never saw eye to eye. Freddie used to think of the spy business as something out of Eric Ambler, Ian Fleming, glamorous, exciting.
Yeah, as opposed to you.
Who knew it was just being stuck in some third world country during a coup and enduring all-night vigils in the seediest places imaginable. Freddie and I used to spend a lot of time arguing our points of view.
And yet you rushed right over to Salzburg the moment he called.
Because we both held this common bond.
The Five Fingers.
Best team ever assembled by the company. 5 crackerjack agents. And now, 35 years later, Roman Petrovich is trying to kill us all.
Why would this Petrovich want to harm the Five Fingers?
We exposed him as a double agent. The Russians didn't take kindly to his cover being blown. They had gone to great lengths to establish it.
I thought we were all friends.
You sold us out there.
Or perhaps we should call you by your true name, Comrade Petrovich.
You found out my little secret.
Spying from Mother Russia and the company has kept you pretty busy.
I knew it was always just a matter of time before my cover was blown. But KGB will welcome you back with open arms.
I sincerely doubt that, old chap. They won't appreciate that you've been using your double agent status for your own personal gain.
What are you talking about?
Smuggling out Russian national treasures and selling them here on the black market.
They don't know it's me.
They do now.
You don't understand what they'll do to me.
We know exactly what they'll do to you, old chap. Expect you'll be spending quite a bit of time in Siberia.
They can't keep me in jail forever. Our men have escaped. And when I do, I'll come back. And that's a promise. I'll be back for all of you.
He's been in a Russian prison for 35 years?
Obviously, he's not anymore. We've got to warn the others.
Well, who are the other 3?
Well, there's Ed Thompson. He's living up in Vegas. CJ's trying to get him on the phone. And then there's Reels.
Reels? Your old partner, Art McMillan, the movie buff?
Lives and breathes them.
Huh. Well, where do we find the fifth?
We don't. She's dead.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news, Roy.
Thompson?
He was killed in a car accident a few miles outside of Las Vegas just a few days ago. Apparently, his Jeep ran off the side of the road.
That was no accident.
If so, that means that Art McMillan's days are numbered.
And if I have anything to say about it?
They're headed out of town. I know what to do when I find them.
Art left the company for this?
It's what's inside that counts. Hundreds of old movies. And Art inspects everyone before this company rents them out. A movie buff's paradise, if you ask me. Wolfman.
No, it's Dracula.
I'm telling you, it's Wolfman. This is the part where they shoot him with the silver bullets.
No, it's the part where
it's Frankenstein, and you're talking through the best part. Reels. Where's Frankenstein? Now, Frankenstein, where are you? Roy Houston, what are you doing up here? It's Petrovich. I'm just an old man who likes to watch old movies. I'm not a part of that world anymore.
Sometimes that world doesn't want to leave us alone.
Maybe it will until the movie's over.
Listen. It's Frankenstein. That way.
Looks like Petrovich means to finish the job here.
Not if we finish him first.
This old friend that you haven't seen in years on the day he gets shot, and you expect me to believe that you don't know anything about it.
He was already dead when we got here.
Why do I find it so hard to believe?
Why would my uncle lie to you?
Because 9 out of 10 times when I run into you Houstons, it's not at a family picnic.
Don't get upset. It's bad for your ulcers.
You two are the reason that I have them.
Well, yelling is not going to get you those answers either, Hoyt.
How about withholding evidence pertaining to a murder investigation? Will that help me to get those answers?
Not if we don't have them, Lieutenant.
Well, God help you if you do. Especially if somebody else ends up dead because of it.
No one will be sorrier than me.
Look, do you mind explaining to me just what was going on back there?
What do you mean?
I know we all lied to Hoyt on occasion. I've been known to do it myself every now and then. But you got to throw him a tidbit, something to go on. You just stood there and lied to the man outright.
Company secrets, boy. We have gone to great lengths to keep our business away from outside eyes. And besides, this is between me and Petrovich.
Look, whoever shot McMillan pushed me down those stairs. I tell you, it was no 65-year-old Russian.
So, Petrovich got himself an accomplice. Even somebody as crafty as Petrovich needs a little help with the dirty work once he reaches the golden years.
I still think we ought to fill Hoyt in on this.
We're dealing with things here that only a select few are supposed to know.
He told me about it.
You're different. You're family. Besides, I need somebody to do my dirty work.
You gave me isn't very much to go on.
I didn't get a very good look at him, CJ. I mean, people usually show movies in the dark.
And of course, it's hard to orient yourself when you're falling head over heels down a flight of stairs.
But that still doesn't do Uncle Roy much good.
Houston, all I can do is keep trying.
I didn't mean to sneak up on you.
Sorry. A little edgy.
That's understandable.
If he would just come at me face to face or just get it over with.
I'd like you to give up so easily.
My friends are dead, Matlock. Not that I should be that surprised. Catherine was always convinced that Petrovich would make good on his threats.
Catherine, the fifth finger. Something you're not telling me about, Uncle Roy.
Yeah, I know. But there are such things as sore subjects, and this one of the most.
Another woman. Uncle Roy, I never would have thought that you...
That was before I met your Aunt Flo. Her name was Catherine Hershey. As soon as I met her, I broke the cardinal rule. I fell in love with a fellow agent. The company hated it. The short time we had together, among my fondest memories. Her death was something else.
How did she die?
West Berlin, a couple of years after the war. There was nothing I could do about it. A meeting had been arranged with a British agent for a drop in an alley in Berlin. Catherine and I argued about who was going to make contact. We'd been arguing most of the night. She'd volunteered for a covert mission into East Berlin, which I considered too dangerous. She accused me of being overprotective. I guess I was. So the least I could do was to let her make a routine drop. Only it wasn't so routine. It someone had gotten to our supposed friend in the British Secret Service.
Sounds like you loved her very much.
Yes, I always have. But I was lucky. I got a second chance with your Aunt Flo.
Roy, is there something you want to tell us?
About what?
This just arrived for you. Is it your birthday?
Not till June.
Who's it from?
There's no name on the card. All it says is Das Vidania.
No!
Are you all right? Get an ambulance quick.
Precinct.
What'd you think?
If I didn't know better, I'd believe I was really dead.
As long as Petrovich thinks you are.
Well, as long as he believes I'm dead, then he won't suspect we're coming after him, right?
Not every man gets to attend his own funeral.
Don't you think CJ is overplaying her part a bit?
What are you talking about?
The grieving widow. Putting flowers on the casket.
That's not CJ.
I think you better check it out, boy.
What's the matter?
Just find out who she is.
I hate to intrude on your grief, but I'm Roy Houston's nephew. I'd like very much to know who you are.
It's not important.
It is to me.
No. I was sure you were dead.
Just as I believed you were dead for the last 35 years. Catherine.
Get down.
Seems like old times.
Some things never change. was hoping for a more peaceful and respectful ending to my funeral.
He's probably on his way back to tell Petrovich that you've come back from the dead.
Petrovich?
He's come back for all of us, Catherine. Looks like my death was for nothing. And now he knows you're alive, too. If you were alive all these years, how could you stay away?
I had to.
We were in love.
I know. And it was affecting our work.
We talked about leaving the company.
Neither of us was willing to do that. Then when you wouldn't let me make that mission into East Germany, that was the final straw.
It was dangerous. You refused to let me come with you.
It didn't concern you.
You always said that. I never understood.
You made me choose.
Between a mission and us?
Between you and my father.
Well, I thought a little bubbly was in order for the occasion.
That's all right, Matlock. You might as well hear this. You'll only talk it out of him later.
Your father.
He was being held prisoner by the Germans in Berlin. I knew that the only way to keep you from following me was if you thought I was dead.
You could have come back after that.
My father was too ill to be moved. And there were other assignments. My cover was too valuable. And then, I didn't know if you'd ever trust me again.
So I come back after all this time.
Oh, when I read you were dead, I couldn't stay away. The years haven't changed my feelings, Roy.
You know, your appearance at the funeral ruined our plot to catch Petrovich.
Now he's got two targets.
Not if we find him first.
Well, tell me something. How does one go about locating a Russian spy?
You ask the KGB.
I just think we could have picked a slightly more private place to meet Karpov.
Couldn't help it, boy. The Russian ballet's in town, and Karpov was assigned to make sure that nobody defects. You look out of sorts, Alexei.
How would you feel playing nursery maid to a group of prancing, high-strung women?
We promised to keep it a secret.
You're looking good, Roy, considering you just have had a funeral. How many have you had now?
Half a dozen.
May they always be fake.
That's why we needed to see you. A countryman of yours means to make sure they're not.
It's been a long time, Catherine. And you must be the nephew who Roy wanted me to get out of Southeast Asia.
It's a pleasure. And your efforts are greatly appreciated.
Now, who is this countryman of mine who is trying to kill you?
Roman Petrovich.
It's impossible.
I wish it were.
But it has to be. Because Petrovich died in Siberia 5 years ago.
Well, then who is it that's trying to kill us?
Looks like we're gonna get a chance to find out. Cover the exits.
I figured it was time I did some of my own dirty work.
You recognize him? His name's Uri Strovka, formerly with KGB. But he's been missing for 3 months now.
The question is, if he wasn't working for Petrovich, why did he want to kill the Five Fingers?
From the decibel level, your friend wasn't too pleased.
None of us are. But Petrovich did. We're right back where we started.
It isn't Petrovich who was out to get the Five Fingers. There's got to be somebody else out there who knows about it.
But there isn't anybody.
You're forgetting the chief.
Wait a minute, the man who set up your accident in Berlin?
I haven't seen him since then. I don't even know if he's still alive.
He's living in a rest home outside of Santa Barbara.
But he could have hired somebody like Yuri to do it for him.
But why would the chief want to kill us?
Why don't we ask him?
Why don't we?
Chief?
Well, well. Still coming back from the dead, I see. What's this make it, 5 times?
6.
Ah, Catherine. So good to see you and Roy back together again. You must be Roy's nephew, the private detective. I knew you'd all be by at some point.
Didn't you know that somebody's been trying to eliminate the Five Fingers?
We thought it was Petrovich.
And we learned he was dead.
So you've come by to see me. You're thinking I might be behind it.
Thought had crossed our minds.
Sit down. Why would I want to eliminate the best team the company ever assembled?
Well, you never seemed too fond of us.
A man doesn't leave $1 million to people he's not fond of.
I'm not sure I understand.
You would in a month. 2 at the most, that's what the doctors say.
Oh, dear.
Oh, now, Catherine. I've led a full life. My years with the company were fruitful, my investments even more so. I've got $1 million with no family to leave it to. That's why I'm willing it to the 5 of you to be split equally by those who survive me. You see, the Five Fingers was the closest thing to a family I've ever had. But it seems to me that you would already know all this.
Why would you think that?
Freddie was by to see me a couple of weeks ago. I told him. I wasn't sure I could reach all of you, so I asked Freddie to pass the message along. Didn't he?
He passed a message, Ori. Freddie wanted us to believe that Petrovich was back to claim his revenge.
And you almost bought it, old chap.
Freddie!
I think you'd better drive, Roy. I've got nothing to lose.
You better do what he says.
The 2 of you are going to be my ticket out of the country. I'll be in touch.
doesn't give me much time. All right, I understand.
Well?
Freddie wants $1 million in cash, safe passage out of the country, a private plane, no cops, and he wants the company to guarantee it.
They won't.
Roy Houston and Catherine Hershey are two of the company's top agents.
Former agents. Besides, the government refuses to pay ransoms.
Well, Freddie is going to call back here at 3 o'clock.
That gives us just 2 hours. What are we going to do?
Whatever it takes to get my uncle and Catherine back.
You really thought you were going to get away with this?
I almost did. Until the two of you and your nephew botched things up. But you must admit I had you fooled for a while. What did you think of my death scene?
Very convincing. But I don't understand why you didn't kill me there.
Macmillan?
Oh. You didn't know where he was, so I led you to him.
All it took was planting the proper seeds.
And faking your death. And blaming Petrovich.
And then you hired a disgruntled KGB thug to do your dirty work.
Well, it furthered the illusion.
And then you'd surface after a period of time, blame Petrovich for your brush with death, and collect the chief's entire inheritance after he died. As if a fifth of it wasn't enough for you.
Not for me. The rest of you went on to better things. Careers, families. All I knew was how to be an agent. $200,000 is nothing today, but $1 million would allow me to live the life I've never had, the life you've been living all these years.
The company will never pay it.
Oh, it's time to find out. Don't go away.
This isn't the kind of reunion I had in mind for us.
At least we got to see each other again. I'm just sorry it had to end this way.
I've never known you to give up so easily.
And you haven't?
If I know Matlock, he hasn't.
It seems you chaps have underestimated your value. The company has agreed to everything.
Reminds me of a sting we made in the early 50s in Tangier.
What is it with you people?
I guess I'll tell you the rest later. You better get to the plane.
You're going to say something like you never liked me.
Well, that's the funny part, Freddie. I always did like you. I wouldn't leave my money to somebody I didn't like. It's the money that started this whole mess.
I wouldn't be too hard on yourself, old chap. This is going to end up costing you nothing.
2 lives are gone.
And you can add 2 more to that if that plane doesn't take off soon. Let's go.
Actually, we've had our fill of flying, thank you.
And I like the company, I insist. You probably hope I forgot your little pry at Tangier. Where the pilot turned out to be one of our agents.
we've changed it a little since then. Are you all right?
Okay.
Let's go.
Better let the boy handle this.
I could have done that.
Well, in spite of all the craziness, I've had a wonderful time.
Yeah, it brought back memories. You got me to thinking that...
Hey, would you look what I found?
What?
You haven't asked her yet?
I was about to when...
It's okay, I can take a hint.
Ask me what?
Well, what the boy and I had in mind was, you know, you'd make a great addition to...
I'm flattered.
Be like old times. We could work side by side.
Two problems.
We'll solve them.
Well, first one is Paris.
Paris, France?
No, Paris LaRoche. My husband.
Oh. Well, I can't solve that one.
We've been together 25 years, Roy. He's a good man.
He's a very lucky man.
And your Flo was a very lucky woman. But even if I were to consider leaving Paris, there's still my second problem. My son.
Named Frankfurt, I suppose.
No. We named him Roy.